Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, and welcome to the Amateur Otaku Podcast. How is everybody doing out there? I am Brandon Alvarado, the Scarlet fan here, and I'm really excited to be here with you guys today to talk some more My Hero Academia. As you guys know, we are covering the show every week, every episode, every punch, every teardrop, every moment the song Just Run plays. We are going to be there and we are covering it today here at the Amateur Otaku. We missed it this weekend, but we're definitely picking it up now. We're recording on a Monday and we got the whole crew here. The entire Amateur Otaku crew is here to talk My Hero Academia. As usual, I am accompanied by the one, the only Dog Isaac, whose name is too long for me to say. Hey, man.
Eh, you're the lazy son of a bitch.
Okay, I'm going to read the name, damn it. Here we go. The mad tea drinker from a jug drinker pun is your doc. I, your name's not even on it. It doesn't even say Isaac anymore.
I know. I
Oh,
was
so that
going
was on
to
purpose.
be the mad wolf who drinks tea from a jug drinker Punisher dog. But they limit with 50 characters, so I couldn't do that.
So you simply went for the one that would say nothing.
Yes. I know.
Okay. And of course, we're also accompanied by our good friend and lover of anime and all things, My Hero Academia, President Mike. Mike Thomas from the Novice Cinephile. What's up, man? So the moment I present President Mike, he does not have a mic.
Sorry, was on mute. All I was saying was, I'm gonna squeeze all these Mike puns throughout every hero name possible. So we'll see how many I can get to. I had all Mike, and now it's present Mike, which is the obvious choice.
It is the obvious choice. So now we got to find out what the next mic is going to be, what the next iteration. I think as the season goes on, whereas the manga develops, you'll go to different phases, similar to Deku. Only it's going to be the phases of Mike.
Yeah, I gotta see
Mike,
what my shoot style looks like by the end of the season.
Oh my god!
Mike, I'm
Yes,
proud of
Punisher.
I'm proud of you.
You know what? I have a feeling that at some point you're going to be gentle, Mike. You're going to start veering into the world of villains.
Ah, yes, Gentle
Of-
Carnival,
you know,
underrated character.
you know how it is, gentle Mike for the ladies. For the ladies. Okay, so thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining me, and I'm really excited to be here. Amateur Otaku, talking My Hero Academia. If you guys love what we do here at the Amateur Otaku Podcast, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that like button and click on the bell for notifications so you do not miss any episodes, you don't miss any streams or anything that we do here at the Amateur Otaku Podcast. Also, if you love our podcast in audio format, make sure you follow our podcast on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, wherever podcasts are found. That is where our podcast is. And now, without further ado, I think it's time to talk My Hero Academia. And of course, let's start with the newest episode of season 5, Foresight. So we finally have a the final part of the second battle between Class A and Class B. The first team, the team from Class A, led by Jojo and Jirasu, and then the team from Class B, led by Kendo. We know that these two characters have been in the work studies together. They've been rivals together, even when it comes to modeling for some reason, because of course we have that. Um,
Oh
There's no
my.
reason, but you know why.
yes, we do because anime. And but now they're fighting and they're testing each other's skills. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm a really big fan of anime battles where they find a way to put the most unusual characters against each other, but making the fight interesting. Because as you know, it's like, when you mix a power type with a power type, you're going to have a bombastic fight, right? It's going to be punches, guns blazing, right? But when you have a power type and a, so to speak, he's more like a tank type or more like a support character,
Hmm.
and they're fighting one on one, and how they find the way to make that fight creative, enticing, and interesting, um, I think was awesome. I think that's one of the strong suits of this episode. The fact that we have a fight between a support character and a power type character, but the fight is like ever engaging. You never take your eyes off it. And they both exploit the different abilities that each of these characters have and how they affect their team members in the best way possible. What do you guys think?
Now you just made me think about Jujutsu Kaisen and a certain character, but that's besides the point. But I think you're pretty much spot on that. It's it makes for more interesting fights at times to have a different type of character, or to like different kind of abilities fight against each other instead of just power versus power.
Right.
Yeah, I
You know
agree.
what?
Oh,
Oh,
go
go
ahead.
on, Mike.
No, go
I
ahead.
was
Finish
just
your thought.
asking. I was just going to ask Brandon. You do know what character I am thinking about when I say Jujutsu Kaisen, right?
Are you talking about the lady that uses the hammers and stuff?
No, 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 no.
Oh, you're talking about the one that can only use weapons and items to look at the monsters.
No, I can
That can
think.
that.
We talk about that later.
Yeah, haven't seen it, but okay. As far as this episode, though, yeah, I agree with everything you guys said. It's a really interesting battle, and I think it was a really, well, poor matchup for Class A. But I'm glad that they set it up that way to see how they can work through that. Like, for example, Hagakure, Invisible Girl, needs to learn how to become a better fighter. Like once she went up against a character who can make her visible, wasn't really able to do anything. And I think being able to see these characters develop over time kind of reminded me of in season 2 when Uraraka fought Bakugo and she realized, hey, I need to learn how to become a better fighter, and then she did that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great way to kind of set these characters up for development, and I think Yairozu, for example, her development really shined in this episode. While
Mm-hmm.
they didn't win the battle, seeing her progress from where she was, where we last saw her, was leaps and bounds better and way more improved. And you just kind of like seeing that.
It's funny that you say that, especially the idea that they didn't win with Yaoyorozu, because then you have a character like Deku that here's what, which is a reason, something that we've said multiple times. One of the reasons that we love Deku is not because he's a fantastic and relatable protagonist, but because he kind of plays the character of not just the protagonist, but he kind of becomes over time, depending on the situation, he's like the stand-in for the audience as well, because
Mm.
he's in Marvel of this hero world just like we are. So seeing him excited for the fight and the result, even though they didn't win just because they saw improvement, is the same enjoyment that we're feeling as an audience. So, kind of feeling that we're not alone in that excitement and stuff like that. Um, it's something enjoyable to watch. You know what I mean? Especially from the perspective. I know we get that moment also from Midnight, but getting it from Deku is kind of like,
Midnight.
yeah,
What did you say, Mike?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
present Mike. Um,
Oh my.
but getting that from Deku was something that was pretty awesome to get as well. Um, but yeah, I agree. But then again, I think, what was her name, Hakagure, or
Yeah, Invisible Girl. That's her hero name.
I don't think she's been through the experiences that Uraraka, Ochako, Uraraka, Frappi, Yujirasu have been.
Yeah.
I don't think they've been in the intense situations that these other characters have been in. And I think that that's kind of like the point that this particular story arc is trying to make, is that on one side you have Class B that has trained their butt off to be better. And then you have those characters that within Class A have trained their butt off to be better. But then you have the characters that have been into the work studies, that were part of the Chihasaikai assault, that have been through all these experiences on the job, and how far they've gotten and how critical of themselves they've become into forming their own um into growing into their own heroes, that you kind of see how the different schools of thought and training all have been throughout the times.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very interesting perspective.
Oh yeah, 100%. Definitely agree. I also just like the battle of brains between Kendo and Yaoyorozu,
Oh,
and
it's awesome.
how the strategy, it's like Deku levels of strategy,
Yes, yes.
which which again reinforces that Yaoyorozu is one of the smartest characters in the entire class. Her quirk, while creative, it has its limits. Like you saw, as soon as she went up against Kendo, all she had was shields. But she was smart enough to make sure she helped out her teammates, and it's like that's awesome, and that's what makes this these last two episodes really great, because I like how we can focus on characters that aren't Midoriya or Todoroki or Bakugo or Endeavor. You know, focus on the other class and the other classmates and students, and just make you feel really, really proud of them after these last 5 seasons.
Yeah, totally agree. Solid episode. um I did find it, and I do like that. Interestingly enough, the characters that shined, that really shined in this episode, in this battle, were the support types.
Mm-hmm.
Because on one side you have Jojirosu, and on the other side you have Komori.
Yeah, Komori.
And and Komori was pretty much the one that won the day with her weird mushroom stuff, which is weird. But then again, something as crazy and stupid as being able to grow mushrooms is what made the day, made and broke this episode, and made and broke this battle. And it lets you, and it kind of, it's like once when you think you've met the weirdest quirk, no, you haven't. And I like that there's no limits to the abundance of different quirks and styles and battles and things that we can see in this world. And I feel that these are the kind of moments that allow me to enjoy the show, that it makes me feel that I'm rediscovering this world again.
Yeah, can we just acknowledge that Toadette's quirk is probably one of the scariest in the entire
Did you just call
series?
her Toadette?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I dig that.
It's
You
easier for me to remember. I'm going to be real. I can't
I
remember
mean,
everybody from Class B.
I mean, is it just me or I was more hungry than scared about it? But that's just me.
I mean,
uh,
she just had a mushroom grow in Tokoyami's throat, man.
yay drugs! Oh wait, that's not what we're doing. Um,
True.
true. Oh my god. Um, but yeah, I mean, solid episode. I don't think nothing extraordinary that we need to discuss happened. It was just this was more of a straight up battle episode. No backstory, no revelations of techniques or abilities. But even though there's nothing new, the execution of it was so good that I don't feel bad that there wasn't another revelation. I don't feel bad that I still have to wait a couple of more episodes before I see Midoriya in his battle and see whatever is supposed to happen there happen. Um, it was that's how you know that you have a great show in your hands, where you can have an episode like this one and keep your audience enjoying it still and talking about it like we are. Even though I know this conversation is practically over, but still, what a great episode though. It was just a solid episode.
Yeah, so I want to ask you guys, do you think it was a good idea to have Deku's battle be the last one? Because we're going to get Todoroki's next. I'm pretty sure we're going to get Bakugo's after that. And it's like holding him for the end, which would probably be like what, episode 10 or 11 or so. Do you think that's too long without like returning back to Midoriya?
I you go. You go, Isaac.
Honestly, I can see why you're asking that, but I really don't, because this is mean as a arc for showing off all the students, and if let's look for an anime viewer's perspective, not anime only,
Yeah.
so to speak. Seeing them fight with Midoriya is sort of like, in terms of the arc, the grand finale, so to speak, the main dish.
The main
What
event.
is with
Yeah.
me? Main event. And if they started it off with Midoriya, the fight with Midoriya, it would just be. It would lose the. I wouldn't say it would lose the.
It would like run out of steam. You're saying?
Yeah, it would run out of steam, so to speak.
Yeah. The reason I'm asking you guys is because, like this fight between Yairozu and Kendo's teams, that took 2 episodes instead of 1, and so I just wonder if each battle's going to be like 2 episodes. Will anime onlys, like, 'cause we set up that whole thing with the vestiges, and we're just not going to return to that for a while, you know?
I think I'm okay with that because if you think about it, they spent almost 3 episodes dealing with the recap and dealing with that, right?
Mhm.
Personally, I think we need this for 2 reasons. As soon as you include Midoriya in a battle setting, I think we know as an audience that the story is going to start moving in a different direction, especially with what we've seen so far, right? And especially what we know from the manga. Like as soon as he's in the battle and you have that incredible event, the story is going to move in a different direction. And I think that the anime understands that it's been a while since we spent time with Class A. So I think what they're doing is letting us kind of like getting people reacquainted with the characters that we've been with for a while, getting back to the school setting. Because keep in mind, and things are happening soon where we won't have moments like this. And not a spoiler. I'm not trying to spoil anything, but does it make sense what I'm saying?
I get you.
Like, I think that's the mentality because right now, after seeing everything with Overhaul and seeing everything with Gentle Criminal, every time we see Midoriya in a battle, something happens, something drastic happens. So there's no way that we're not going to introduce Shinzo and Midoriya and not expect something big to happen. And leaving it towards the back end of the whole event allows us to spend time to enjoy these characters that we do enjoy, that we maybe forgot we enjoyed. You know?
Yeah.
So that's why I appreciate it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just wondering again from an anime only's perspective, would this start to drag on? Because I've seen a few people kind of complain about the pacing, and I'm like, this is paced pretty well. Like, even though this episode was technically two, part 1 and part 2,
Mm-hmm.
it still paced really well, and every episode ended in a really good cliffhanger spot
Yes.
until this one. Like, seeing how supportive Todoroki was of Yairozu, I'm excited to see what he brings to the table in the next episode.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I can see what you mean though, because I don't know if you do you guys know of a YouTuber known as Roger Base. He's focusing a lot on One Piece and all that jazz. He pointed out on Twitter that there is nearly no buzz about this current season, and it could be because of this current situation, so to speak. But it shall be interesting to see once this whole tournament arc, which you can argue that this,
Yeah.
if it changed and all. I do think it's necessary because it would be too fast paced and all, like well said. But I can see the problem that, quote unquote, problem that you bring up, so to speak.
Yeah, there's things that I can say later once we start talking about that manga chapter that I can't say now. But this is the calm before the storm, essentially. you know,
Yes.
like you guys are saying, by the time we get to going back to Deku and Hawks and all that stuff that they already set up, it's like, yeah, we're kind of biding our time here. It'll hit, trust me. In like a month's time, it'll hit.
Yeah. 100%. 110%. And it's one of those things like in the beginning, throughout the seasons, we've kind of like left the school behind, and the idea of this group of people that is discovering what it means to be a hero, and we've been isolated from it. But I like that they're taking their time to understand that this group of people is still important. Their development is still important, and also because I want to see how what happens with them next. Because look at it this way: Deku is the main character, but I like that by having him on the sidelines throughout this, we're enjoying different parts of Deku that we haven't seen in a while.
Exactly.
So, thumbs up.
Yeah, it's just funny how people seem to get annoyed that they're focusing on the academia aspect of My Hero Academia.
Yeah, it's
It's like,
it's like it's like I don't know. It's sort of like X-Men and not focusing on the reason why it's called X-Men,
right.
if you know what I mean.
It is
It's
kind of
kind of
crazy.
like that.
It's crazy. It is crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But I like how this is one of those shows that is so many things at once, and I'm glad that the anime people find the time to allow us to enjoy all those different parts, because it doesn't all have to be dread and all for one, or dread and mega battles. There's certain things that still make the show special, because in the beginning, all we had was things like this, and it was still awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like the entire first season was Deku getting into this school and going on one field trip.
Yep. And it going horribly bad, but awesome at the end. So
For sure.
yes, this is our discussion of the of the episode 6, I believe it was,
Yeah.
of season 5 of My Hero Academia anime. And now, without further ado, guys, this is our only spoiler warning. Spoilers lie ahead, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to jump in and talk about the My Hero Academia manga chapter. We're about to talk about the latest chapter of My Hero Academia, which is chapter 310, Masters and Pupils. Um, this chapter was amazing. If you are not reading the manga, run away. Run away, little birdie. Run away with the strength of
Insert,
Ingenium. Run.
insert Forrest Gump reference here.
Run, spoiler. Run. This is our discussion of the manga. Three, two, one. I am so happy for this chapter.
It's so good.
So good. The manga's on fire. Um, Now we know the identity, or part of the identity, of the last two wielders of All for One. We know they have a direct relationship to Yoichi. We finally know the name of the first wielder.
Yep.
We've never Yoichi, which is the brother of All for One. And now we know that they are directly related to him, in the sense that they set him free from All for One's grasps. Um, this is awesome.
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge the cover of this, the colored splash page.
Yep.
That's beautiful, by the way.
Yep. But what I'm gonna tell you what stands out the most to me of that color page. What stands out the most to you?
One, Deku's eyes are very reminiscent of All Might.
Yep.
And two, the gauntlets.
From two heroes.
Yep, which we established in the last chapter that All Might got them from America.
Yep.
But seeing them in color, it's like, oh yeah, those are definitely the ones Melissa made.
Which means that they're still prototypes, which means that he can use them, but not only that he can use them, what that means is that he has three opportunities per arm to go 100%.
Yeah, he's gonna need that pretty soon, isn't he?
Yep. Yep.
That's an understatement.
But what a great episode in terms of Deku being a symbol of peace in a world in chaos, because it's easy to be a symbol of peace in a world that's at peace.
Right.
It's hard to be a symbol of peace in a world in chaos, which is what Deku's trying to do. I love the fact that Batman feel was just in the first couple of chapters, but now that we know that he's still the same kind-hearted Deku that we've always loved, and seeing him in this episode being kind to this lady and kind of preventing a disaster, and him promising to her, I'll make it so. I'll do what I need to do to bring peace back, to bring order back. And it's like, dude, yes, this is why I read this. And then All Might shows up in his Corvette.
The Batmobile.
Yes.
He's basically Alfred now, packing his
Yes.
lunches.
But then again, think about it this though. You know what I thought about when I saw All Might like this? I didn't feel heartbroken. What I felt was this is a guy that didn't need All for One to be a hero. He always had that in him.
Yeah, and I also like how we don't see All Might regretting his
Yep.
decision. If anything, he's glad that Deku can take care of this, and he's going to support him in every way he
Yep.
can.
Yep.
Which,
He's okay being a support item.
right. And again, like I'm making jokes about him being Alfred, but it's like that's a great role for All Might, honestly. And
I
that
mean-
just shows how much their relationship has changed.
Yeah. But not only that, there's never a disregard for each other. They always talk to each other with the utmost respect, with the utmost joy. Like they're both doing what they always meant to do. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you have that sense of camaraderie, you know, and I think that's pretty awesome. Isaac, you were gonna say something?
I was just saying he's better at being Alfred than being a teacher. That's for sure.
1000%.
Damn.
Hey, it's true. Gran Torino is the one who really taught Midoriya. Let's be real.
Damn. Why you dissing All Might like that?
I do want to say just how wholesome it is seeing Deku use float to make sure he covers her with that umbrella. It's so cute.
No, and the way that he has command of float now.
Yeah.
It is so good. But of course, the highlight of the episode wasn't the highlight of the chapter wasn't just that hero save, that moment. The highlight of the episode was the whole just we finally get another conversation where apparently we see Deku is buddy with Black Whip. And Black Whip is kind of a dick, but in a good way. But we get introduced to these two characters that now we can see clearly that one is definitely gotta be Bakugo's father or something, because damn,
It's uncanny.
it's stupid. It's uncanny. It's stupid. But not only that, did you notice that he has like gauntlets that look similar?
He's got the gauntlets. He's got literally the same face. And he's got the X that's on Bakugo's chest. He's got the scar on his face. It's ridiculous.
Maybe he's an older brother or something. But then again, aren't we supposed to understand that all this with All for One has been going on for like 150 years?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you guys regarding that. So, yeah, like you said, we discovered that these two, we're just going to say Bakugo and Kirishima. We see that the users 2 and 3 break out the first from prison, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we
Yeah.
established actually like 2 episodes ago in the anime. So 3 of the 9 users lived within the exact same time.
Well, you got to think, Yoshi. Now, but one other thing that we've learned, I think, I wouldn't be surprised if Yoshi has the ability of spreading One for All and maybe these two first users had one for all at the same time,
Okay. Yeah.
or Yoichi gave it to Bakugo slash two, and once that guy died, but keep in mind also this is wartime. Technically, it happens during the war and the reign of All for One. So, and the way he talks about that we lived in the harshest time of all, it makes me think that they may have not been alive for long.
Well, I mean, All Might confirmed in like what was it, chapter 250 or something like that, that the every user of One for All had pretty much a short life. So I get that. I get that. But again, if it's been like nearly 200 years or so, and the first three lived in the exact same time, and then the last two are alive at the same time, how long did the other ones live?
Maybe it's only been 50 years, and it just has been a rapid evolution of hero culture.
Could be. I mean, the show is technically. I mean, the manga's technically in Deku's second year now. Well, 0 year since he's a dropout.
Yeah. I think, or maybe it's been a long time, but Eri keeps rewinding everybody. There's an Eri in the future.
I'm just glad
So,
the back you go theory is now dead. Hopefully.
What do you mean?
Back accurate? What theory?
Yeah, so the back you go theory is based on Bakugo looking like the second user. The theory is that Eri rewound time, sent Bakugo to the past to make sure One for All got to Deku and All Might in the future.
No,
What?
Yeah.
no.
This has been a theory for like a year, guys. I'm surprised you didn't hear of it.
I think we haven't heard about it because we keep our eyes and ears out of the gutter. No.
Wait. It's because
Oh, what have you done, Mike? Why have you given him this? Why?
it's Bakugo returns travels to time to save One for All.
Right. Which kind of lines up with the fact that that he did technically save him. It's just not Bakugo. Which is, it opens up a paradox and a time loop, and Brandon would understand this because he's a Flash fan. It doesn't make sense. It falls apart pretty quickly.
Hey, Flashpoint makes perfect sense. Okay, I just don't want it here.
I just okay.
Yeah,
I
but
don't get it. Okay, go on.
no, that was it. I was just gonna say, great chapter. I'm glad we got a flashback inside the Vestige world. That's kind of unique, something we haven't actually had before.
At least it was not a flashback within a flashback.
I mean, kind of was.
Yeah, good point.
It's been crazy. It has been just so crazy. I
So-
mean, yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. So, what do you guys think about that whole ordeal at the beginning of the chapter? Like, it seems like certain groups are gonna start doing hate crimes to mutant types, which is interesting.
I mean, how should I put it? When chaos occur, fear occur, and to some degree anarchy occur, and so I can't say that I'm surprised, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not surprised either. I just thought that was really interesting because it's like when you think of all the mutant types that we know of, like Tokoyami's an example, right? Or Ojiro with his giant tail. It's like that's messed up how they all, like you said, as soon as the world goes into chaos, racism creeps back in.
I mean, it's perfectly believable, to be perfectly frank.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I like how this goes back to moments with characters like okay. So you guys remember the expanded vestige thing that we had with All for One, and like there was this character that was like a monster type, and he was hated by people. And All for One, all he did was take the monster form and give it to someone else.
Oh yeah, that was like in episode 5 of this season, right? Or
Right. So
4.
so so is the idea that even though quirks are a thing, people still hate, people still find reasons to hate or be against those things they don't understand. And you also see a little bit of that, um like in so you see, on one of those that Sun Eater fought from the Sheihataikai,
Hmm.
they were talking about that too. That they were considered monsters because they looked different and they reacted different and their quirks were different. So there's always been that kind of hatred or that kind of attack that you are kind of mentioning like a mutant kind of thing, which is interesting. But it's because of how raw the world has become because of the advent of villain society, to say to speak, just so to speak, right? That these truths of these underlying social problems are coming to light, and I really like that. I think that's great storytelling.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree there. It's fantastic storytelling, and I like seeing this world evolve. Um, like we were just saying in the anime discussion, like the first, thinking about that first season, as much as I love it, it's crazy to think that we spent so much time Deku's entrance exam, right, and all of that stuff, to where now Deku's not even in UA anymore.
Yeah,
Deku's pretty much a vigilante, helping stop all types of crime. Like he stopped Muscular, and then he just stopped this gang of guys, attacking this girl. And it's just like he doesn't care what level of crime or villainy, he's gonna stop it anyway.
he's a hero.
Exactly.
Don't matter. He's a hero, and that's why we love him. That's why we love Deku.
Yeah.
So we can all agree that he needs to jump into Jump Force, learn a Kamehameha, and become a Super Saiyan so he can just beat the end bad guy with no problem.
Wow. I mean, Jump Force is free on PS Now, guys. Not sponsored.
Stop. Stop.
It's apparently going to get a sequel.
Ay.
Yay. So, Horikoshi did an interview this last week. I don't know if you guys wanted to talk about that at all. You might consider it a little spoilery, though.
What's up?
Okay.
So in the interview, somebody just asked him what characters are going to have an important role in the final act, and he named a couple. So would you be interested in hearing those, or you rather not know?
Okay, so we're gonna go full
Bring
spoilers. Full spoilers. Oh, before you say that, I want to say this. How amazing was that final panel of Midoriya up in a crane having lunch a la Spider Man, and then all the vestiges behind him?
I dare
Yeah.
argue that it's sort of like the Avengers pan shot that you see in Avengers 1. It's the Hero Academia equivalent of that.
Yes.
What's so great about that, though, is that we did that. Was it the last chapter before this, where it was Deku, All Might, Hawks, Best Genus, and Endeavor?
Yep. Yep.
And so that just reinforces that Deku has all these people supporting him. But I also like how we still have our goofy side, where the very last image is Deku just like scarfing down food.
Yeah. Yeah.
So great.
So good. So spoilers of this Horikoshi thing, but then again, we can't say they're spoilers because they haven't come to pass, and we don't know if they're going to be and happen the way that he's saying. So let's see. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this was at an exhibit that they had open for My Hero Academia. So somebody interviewed him there. The question was just, what characters will have an important role in the final act? And he just said the most important ones, without revealing too much, will be Hawks and Ochako. They'll have surprisingly big roles because they'll be the light of hope in the darkness. He also said Shoji, Shinso, and Monoma will have big roles as well later on, which I thought was really interesting.
Being that Shinzo is getting so much information here.
Yeah, so I think again, it's like what I said last week on how he likes to have the anime and the manga kind of like correlate and unify at a certain point. So it's
Yeah.
like we're introduced to reintroduced to Monoma and Shinso in the anime, and so it's like it's kind of crazy that in the final act they're gonna pop up again.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, we have to tie that around. I assume Shinso took Midoriya's spot in the class, right?
We would have to assume so, because he was the one trying to get in there.
Yeah. But Hawks, not surprised. Uraka, that'll be interesting to see how they reintroduce her into the story. Because again, she's not really a fighter, so I don't know if she'd be in this Shigaraki story or if she'd have something else going on.
Yeah. This is, but then again, Oshako has always been love interest, quote unquote. At
Has
least,
she though?
uh, at least from her end. I
Because
mean,
like
you
we
can't
say
have
that, but
you can't
Deku's never
have
showed interest in her.
because he's always been preoccupied. But you got to think about it. It was the same thing with Naruto. Naruto never really showed any interest in that way to Hinata until he started noticing what it was to be loved by someone that way, and he just decided that that would be the person he wanted to be with. He decided to look at it this way. He didn't decide to be with the person that he loved forever. He decided to fall in love with the person that loved him genuinely as who he was from start to finish. Because the whole thing about the last, the movie that's called The Last, which is
Yeah,
like the one with the love story between Naruto and Hinata, is the fact that all these people that kind of like draw Naruto's attention from that gender are people that know him as the hero of Konoha. But Hinata cared for him before all that. And that's what opens Naruto's eyes. And that's what moves him in that direction. The only thing is that I don't think they're as close as Hinata and Naruto were. And I don't think Ochako's ever done anything in the same level that Hinata's done. But at the same time, I kind of like that this show has not wasted time in that kind of banter. You know what I mean? Like you get
hmm
those little things here and there with Oshako and whatever, but I kind of have a feeling that they use that as a means to give her story direction, especially when she starts going in a different direction and growing, rather than it being a B plot for the entire series. Does that make sense?
yeah. So they technically dropped that entire plot line in season 3, and we only get references of it since then, which I'm thankful for because yeah, that can be drawn out for a long time, like Sakura and Sasuke,
Yeah.
and it's like we don't need to
Ugh.
drag it out that long.
Which is kind of luckily with the whole Dragon Ball thing. He wanted to give Goku love interest. She asked Goku if he wants to marry her when they are grown up. He says okay. He forgets about it. She challenged him when they are adults. She reminds him of his promise and said, "Okay, I do that," and then they just and that's it.
I mean, Goku exists on another plane of existence from every other character, so
At least
But
it's a man. At least it's a man of his word.
man of his word, never cheated on his wife. He's kind of a bad, horrible, and good father at the same time.
how
And
is
he is
Piccolo
the
a better
same.
father than him?
Well, he was dead. so, we, so we can't really blame Goku for not being Gohan's wife. I mean, he was kind of dealing with the fact that he was dead.
Yeah.
But then you have the other thing. If we're going to talk about social injustice and bad parents, let's talk about the fact that Goku practically raised himself when he accidentally murders his grandfather. You know what I mean? So he was kind of on his own forever. So you can't really blame him for thinking that his kids will be okay. And I am not justifying bad parents.
I
Yeah.
mean, you like Endeavor, so not
Wow.
putting anything out there.
Wow.
Wow.
Hey, Dad, that's a bad scar.
Oh, that'll be one of my favorite lines for all time.
Okay, so guys, I think we've done everything here. We will come back next week to talk more My Hero Academia. We've had a blast talking about it to this point. Um, episode 94, Foresight, and chapter 310, Masters and Pupils, is out now. The episode of the anime is available on Funimation, Crunchyroll, and Wakanim. And the chapter is available on Viz Manga. That Viz Manga app, guys, go get it. It's only $2.99 a month. There's everything there. That's where I read My Hero Academia. That's where I read Jujutsu Kaisen. That's where I'm currently reading the Promised Neverland manga, which we are covering, and the first episode will come out soon. Guys, where can we find you on the webs? Present Mike.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Novice Cinephile and on YouTube at Novice Cinephile. I just released a video called "Why Invincible is the Best Superhero Show of 2021." Great series. Definitely recommend you guys checking it out. And yeah, I referenced My Hero in that video, so you might like that.
Cool. The Matt tea drinker from a jug drinker Punisher doc.
I just
Well,
want
you
to
can-
appreciate how smooth you said that.
You got to understand, I've been dealing with his madness for almost 2.5 years now. I mean, at this point, all I hope is that the next time I say that, the words actually become like Comic Man's ability, that they become like big chunks of stone and attack.
We didn't even talk about that. That is a wild quirk. But yeah.
Yes. And it's so funny. Like in the middle of the fight, he goes like, "I'm getting a little hoarse," like like he's clearing his throat. It's so awesome.
Yeah, but well, you can find my work at Woven Entertainment, and you can find me over at Twitter at Emblemaniac, that you can see down below, and you can well, I don't know what to say next.
And he just changed his name, Isaac. I'm walking away. And I'm Full Metal Brandon, and you can find me at the Scarlet Fan 52 on Twitter, at the Scarlet Fan 52 on Instagram, as Brandon Alvarado on Facebook. I do music, do a lot of cool stuff, and we look forward to talking to you guys soon. Have it awesome, guys. Oh, by the way, before we say goodbye, nobody, nobody said anything about the fact that I'm Full Metal Brandon. I don't know if I should feel insulted or if I'm supposed to say something. Okay, I'm done. Cool.
I mean, I was going to say something about it, but we kind of got off the rails. We get off the rails really quickly, and it just never comes back up.
You want President Mike? I agree with you.
You get used to it with me involved.
Yes. Here's the thing. It's like doing a podcast with Isaac is like driving on Rainbow Road. like even when you think that you got that turn, you know you're falling off anyway.
Lakitu's gonna have to pick you back up.
Yeah.
Bastard. I mean, Mike know that firsthand. Just look at the Cat's episode I did on his podcast.
Oh yeah, guys, check out Mike John _movies on Twitter. We're also on Spotify. Just go Mike and John at the movies. We have a Crazy Cats episode, and we have to do a commentary track on that one day. So God help us all.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. You guys are awesome. Take care. Have it awesome. We will see you next week. Peace.
Meow.
Plus Ultra.